Hello and welcome to Crafty Learn Spanish. Today we're looking at a bit of gender confusion. Yes, gender. It's a difficult topic for people who come from a English learning background or English background. People in other languages, well, since I can't vouch for every language, I don't know. But a lot of European languages have gender, so they probably find this easier. But for English or American, any English-speaking language, this is weird to get used to. And what is weird? That every noun, every word that is a person, a thing, an object, has a gender. It's either masculine or feminine. Now, there's one rule basically. If it ends in O, say we've got O here, and these are O's. These are the things. So, well, let's write it out. If it's O equals masculine, okay, and A equals feminine. I can't spell it. It doesn't come up with any mistake. Feminine. Yes. So there's your basic rule. If it ends in O, it's masculine, and if it ends in A, it's feminine. So you generally got this rule you can follow it by. Now, what happens is like this here. I'm going to look at these two things here. Is that generally male people are always going to be masculine, right? So when it's masculine, we're going to, if you use the, which is equal, which is, oh, my lovely computer's going to haywire, equals L, and A, and equals, and for the feminine, oh, we can do that. That's good. The, can't spell the, una, and sorry, got the wrong way around. That equals una. Say we all make mistakes. Me, I make lots. So we have this. Okay, this is the rule. If it's O, it's masculine, so you'll be using the, L, and un for an. All right. If it's feminine, get away. If it's feminine, it's the and that and una. Okay, so that's the rule. So, but if it ends in anything else, well, that's when you have to learn. But there's a lot of words which end in O and A, so don't worry. You're going to get your use out of it. And generally follow this rule. Plus, if it's, we'll see, what you have to learn is more the exceptions than the rule. When you learn the exceptions, you just follow the rule and just remember the exceptions. Because of a word with so many, a language with so many words, you're very rarely going to get one wrong. And if they do, it's one of these strange words, and which is just absolutely weird. You would never think of it, even following the rule. It wouldn't make sense. So don't worry about that. I make many mistakes like that. So, for example, if a man or something like that, something related. For here we have a grandfather, and remember to say this, we've got a diphthong, w, the water, abuelo, grandfather, it ends in an O. Hijo, because we don't say the H, is your son. Hombre, well, that doesn't end, but it means man, so it's obviously going to be el hombre. A boy, el niño. And a father is going to be el as well, padre. sobrino, nephew, el sobrino, and uncle, el tío. Okay, and so when we go to the female side of the family, for example, don't worry about the vocabulary. This is just to add to the talking about the gender. You can maybe you can look at this and learn the words. It's good, and how to say it. Abuela, grandmother. La abuela, la chica, the girl. La hija, the daughter. La madre, la mujer, a woman. And this in Spain, not in South America, does also mean wife. So go figure that out. Sobrina, la sobrina, niece, and la tía, aunt. Okay, so you've got anything that's a womanly type and a male type is going to be like that. And when let's move these to one side so we can bring in another thing. And when we have sometimes like this, as you see here, we have words. This, for example, means friend. We just change. If it's masculine, it's got O in the end. And if it's feminine, so this means a male friend, and that means a female friend. So you know when you have that awkward thing when he says she's just a friend, you know, and no, people go yeah. This, it doesn't matter because it's here. It's amiga. It's straightforward. For example, teacher. Well, this is teacher is in a school. Maestro, maestra. Okay, grandchild. I think we've nieto, nieta. So el nieto, la nieta, un nieto, una nieta. Un niño, una niña. Which we've seen. Primo, prima, cousin. Primo, vecino, vecina. And that's where we get vicinity from, neighborhood, vecindad. So you're just changing. You get two for the price of one. You just have to change the ending, which is quite good, and this happens in a lot of cases. So you're all right for that if you're looking for the male version. So it's not too bad. So apart from that, this is the gender. You get used to it. This is the good thing. Okay, so let's have a look down here and bring these up. And we've got a few exceptions and a couple of rules, just so to help you with this. For example, here. Now we have, this is an exception, right? We have some things. Artista, dentista, estudiante, joven, turista, right? These are nouns, so they don't change. You can't change E, but you can change A, obviously. But instead of these changing, you change the article, which is this. All right. So there's a group of words like this. So for example, the male artist will be el artista, or the male dentist, el dentista. The female dentist, la dentista. Okay, and it's the same with the student. El estudiante, la estudiante. Okay. El joven, la joven. El turista, la turista. Okay, now this happens with a few of these. There's not lots, but you do get some. But if you look at them, they're more gender neutral. So if a student is, it can be either a girl or a boy. So what they think about, they change, instead of changing the whole word, they just change the article and put el or la in front of it. And in this way, it's different. Okay, now you'll find a few of these, but don't worry, they'll come up and you'll see it, and you'll hear them. And whenever I come up with one, I will point it out as well over the course, because it's a lot of vocabulary. This is the one thing which we'll have to approach, is the amount of vocabulary and how you learn it. And so this next one, I'm going to get some space here. Yes, we'll knock it up a bit. This is an exception. These two things here are exceptions. Okay, for example, it should end in a, but it's male. And these are common words. So, or maybe not telegram, but these other ones all are. You would think la problema, but el problema, el programa. The amma, oma, appa, these words you have to learn. Unfortunately, there's not really a way of getting around it. You have to think, what you have to do is, I think a good way of learning vocabulary is to pick two famous people. Pick two of the manliest man and the most femalist female that you can think of. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but it has to be, you cannot have some kind of androgynous person, if you know what I mean, to illustrate something. So, for example, with these, all these are going to be the man. So, for example, I don't know, who's a man? I know Brad Pitt, right? You would think of Brad Pitt saving the world and changing the climate, It's the same with that. And for example, these ones should be, look like they should be male, but they're actually female. And this one everybody has a problem with. So this is your hand, la mano. And second hand, segunda mano. So you think of a woman. So, well, there you go. You've got Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, all right, with a hand. With her hand on the radio or whatever. These are just little silly ways and you use this little mnemonic just for these things. Okay, you get, for example, in Brad Pitt's latest movie, he saves the planet from zombies. Okay, he speaks English. He's an actor, so he does drama. He goes to work every day. Make a little story out of it. Maybe this is a good idea. So take these words and make a story, because it's it's good if you have a story to involve. So it's the Brad Pitt male female thing, and then you can put Angelina Jolie in with it if you want. So anyone that you find that is like this, I'm sorry I can't list them all, because probably I don't know them all. Simple as that. I cannot lie to you. I don't know all the words in Spanish. Wish I did. It would be nice. But when you're dealing with gender, don't look at it as something new. I mean, we do it in English. We say, we call boats she. She's a good boat, or a car. She's a good car. And it's kind of like that. When you get emotionally attached with something, you tend to call it, people tend to call it, I don't know about women, but men tend to call them she, Maybe women call things he. And it's a bit like that, okay? But the gender is there everywhere. And as you're going to see in some upcoming lessons, it involves a lot of things like adjectives. You have to match things and put things together correctly. So it's good to learn these first and get the idea that there is gender, and stop thinking of things as neutral as we do in English. If you think a car in Spanish is el coche, el coche, so it's a man in Spanish. Figure that. But all these things you'll find out, as you go learning vocabulary, you realize that you rest a lot on this rule, this o and a. Generally, I would say 90% you're going to use this, and if it's not, for example, if you say a word like papel, it's different. I mean, if you remember a vocabulary that you already knew, we told you that these words, ion, always are feminine. Okay? And these are always feminine. This is different. They're adjectives, so you can't use that. And that. I think these are feminine as well. La democracia. And these are adjectives. And I think like this ist a bit like el optimista, la optimista I think maybe it's like that, dentista, because it's a general word, you're not too bothered by it. So my idea is just to get used to these. Get used to learning maybe the family. Look for some web page that teaches the names of the family, and get used to saying la and el and la. El primo, la prima. Yeah? El padre, la madre. El niño, la niña. El hombre, la mujer. El hijo, la hija. Things like that. And bit by bit it'll come. Yeah? So you won't come straight away, but eventually you start to get a feel for it, and you kind of understand why, but it just happens because if you hear a lot of Spanish, which I do recommend, listen to it even though you don't understand it. But we'll talk about that another day, don't worry. So I hope this has been a bit helpful, a little bit. We're going bit by bit. You have to do a lot of pieces together before you start to begin. Now we know how to make a basic sentence. We know a bit more about nouns. Okay, we've been learning a lot about verbs. So once you start putting them all together, you're speaking Spanish. And that'll be soon. Soon, don't worry. We've only been, we haven't had that many classes. And think about that, and they're not that long. So you'll be surprised at how much you can do in such a short time. Okay, so take care and have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.